Chapter 16 The Thing He Could Not Heal. The San Fluid Empire imperial capital, in the corner of that city. The mini-empire order of knights and armed priests surrounds the holy knights of the Netale kingdom who had brought in the Black Plague into the imperial capital. They had received arrows of ice, infected by the pulmonary plague, and seriously injured. Their huge bloodlust had started and the pool of blood started to dye the stone pavement dark red. They are close to their death. If you bring the Black Plague into the imperial capital, the Netale kingdom is just beside the empire. The Netale kingdom shall perish as well. The empire army's major general scolded the holy knights. It is Black Plague. While sobbing off from the intense vomit of blood, one of them widened his eyes. The holy knights looked like they are surprised. And it would seem that they do not know how the Black Plague infects. Right now, the public health guidance in the imperial capital has even reached the guards, and have the knowledge for infection prevention. However, the holy knights did not have that. We are just doing what that man said. We do not know his aim. One of the holy knights falls. How ridiculous. Falma, who had descended from the sky above the imperial capital, stood up on the roof of a low store, where he could look down on the surrounded holy knights of the Netale kingdom. He wore the hood of his protective clothing deeply. When he used diagnosis eye on the holy knights of the Netale kingdom, all of them were red. And just right now, one of them have died and only two of them remains. He was too late. Our mission has ended. While the two holy knights were coughing out blood, they started to talk. According to them, all of the strategies was devised by a certain person. We have our countrymen as hostages. They said that he claimed that he has powers to control diseases that could kill thousands of men within a month, and to show that he destroyed the colony. He told us that if we want to avoid getting a massacre of the people of the Netale kingdom, we must throw in those animals and their corpses into the imperial capital, and create a wind disturbance. What that means, it would seem that the two of them does not know. They only thought that as long as the imperial capital would be a little infected, and as long as all of the citizens of the Netale kingdom would be saved, they could only do what they were told. They already unable to have calm judgments, with their king and the other royalty poisoned to death and their government not functioning. We have only carried the load as we were told. While that happened, the carriers died one by one, and because of that the holy knights became impatient on executing their plan. The nobles who have divine powers, they have higher immunity than the commoners. But even so, the Black Plague infected them. While getting pierced by ice arrows in their body, while roughly breathing and about to die, the holy knights, the elite of the Netale kingdom, spoke out with frustration. The Black Plague has yet to spread in the Netale kingdom. However, if they do not do what he says, the fate of the people of the Netale kingdom will end. They said that there was nothing that they could do. Why do you not kill that man? You, as skilled as you are. Why did you follow what he said? The Imperial Guards Division Captain presses that question frustratingly. We can't kill him, we can't. That guy, he's possessed by an evil spirit. Humans can't kill him. The holy knight said an ambiguous thing. We tried to kill him, we tried many times, they said. The instant when we tried to kill him, they were already killed. Good God, did the Guardian Temple in Netale not exorcise the evil spirit? The head priest Solomon asked irritatingly. In the first place, the devastation in the Netale kingdom has not been reported to the Great Temple. Help was not called. The temple, it has been sealed off since 2 months ago. All of the priests were killed, all were killed, including pigeons and horses. It is information that head priest Solomon did not know. To think that such troublesome thing is there, tearing off a great evil spirit, that the temple is no match. An evil spirit that possesses even a country, that is not an ordinary feat. The priests showed vigilance. What is the name of that man? It was a question by a voice filled with pressure. It is Bruno who appeared. He hurried in a horse to personally confirm the situation. We do not know his name. Bruno speaks out characteristics. Cambio de Sato. Blue hair, has a huge burn scar on his left cheek, a one-eyed, cunning and evil man. The holy knights widened their eyes to surprise. It was Bullseye. That's right, we do not know his name, but that is right. We did what that odious man said. With this, the Netale kingdom is saved. The last breathing holy knight left those words of a will, made a satisfied expression, and perished. Their corpses were immediately incinerated carefully by the flame divine arts users on the spot. It was like that. Looking down on the start and end of that scene, Falma finally understood the situation. He did not understand what an evil spirit is, but he thought that there might be a reign of terror by a very heinous person in the core part of the Netale kingdom. Bruno seems to know something, so I must ask him the details later, Falma thought inside. Although countermeasures are needed towards the Netale kingdom, I must first stop the pest in the imperial capital. If this goes on, the medicine would not be enough. That was needed to be done first. He needed to have a priority list. Only Falma could create the medicine, sparfloxacin. First, I must grasp the number of infected. And next to that is production of the shortage. Falma places divine powers into the medicine god's staff, and silently flew up while being careful not to be seen by the people who gathered. Because there are no more worries for enemy attacks, the warning bells that rung throughout the imperial capital started to stop as if the waves pulled back. However, Bruno, who stared at the flames burning the holy knights of the Netale kingdom, noticed a very important thing. While his eyes continued to stare, Bruno whispered silently in his mouth. This is bad. That man, his heart is broken. He does not believe in people at all. He should be checking in his own eyes whether the holy knights of the Netale kingdom did their job. For him, humans dying, infected by disease looks beautiful. Weakening, despair, death, and the start of regeneration by the few people who endured the disease. In there, Camus feels beauty. He likes to see the scene of people getting infected and dying from the disease. On top of that, he likes to do it closely. Bastard. Bruno grips his staff tightly, and exploded with anger. Strong divine powers gushed out. Do not stop the warning bells. Continue to ring them, he shouted. Camus is within the imperial capital. He must be defeated as soon as he is found. The people working in the first quarantine station watched how the situation progressed, while listening to how the inside the city seemed from the watchman soldier on top of the triumphal arch. The noisy warning bells that rung gradually calmed down, its sound stretches out, and finally stopped ringing. The warning bell stopped. Would you like to return to the pharmacy? Lot invited Cedric. I agree. The guards of the imperial capital seem to have defeated the enemy. For the meantime, the danger has left. From the first quarantine station, Lot and Cedric hurried to the different world pharmacy while passing by the imperial capital's guards walking in a hurry. Within the imperial capital, because of the divine arts battle, things have collapsed. Ground have subsided and places here and there were wasted, and the citizen of the imperial capital showing their faces from the stores and their houses have fallen to confusion. When they finally reached the 6th quarantine station's direction, they saw the huge gates of the different world pharmacy in the corner of the imperial capital's ally, standing just like it did before. Thank goodness, it did not burn. Thank goodness. Lot leapt up and down to her delight. And as if to shower her with cold water, the warning bells started to ring again. Eh? Warning bells again. This is strange. Is there a new enemy? Let's enter the pharmacy until the warning bells stop. It is safe inside the pharmacy. The shrubbery and the standing signboards and etc. were damaged by the wind. However, Lot, who carefully looked at the outside appearance of the pharmacy, felt something strange. The east side's window is open. It must have been opened because of the wind art user's blast of wind. It might not be locked properly. Cedric also looked up to that. I'm sure I locked it properly though. I'll go and close it. When entered inside the pharmacy, winds were blowing in from the opened window, scattering the documents around. Cedric and Lot closed them one by one, and tidied up the scattered things. Lot climbed up to the 3rd floor. Gatan, there was a sound from the 4th floor. Ah, Falma, Salma have returned. Lot called out to Cedric, who is on the 2nd floor. That is strange. The doors and the walls were locked. Is it an animal? Lot climbs the stairs in a hurry towards the laboratory in the 4th floor while Cedric was speaking. Wait, Lot. I will check it. There might be a remaining black plague squirrel. Cedric, who had a bad feeling, followed Lot. His knees have started to heal, so he is now able to climb up without using the elevator, but he could not help but be slower than the young Lot. Lot, who ran up full of the feelings of wanting to meet Falma and did not even catch her breath, did not hear Cedric's voice. When she reached the fourth floor, the door of the laboratory was open. Falma sama. Lot happily runs into the laboratory. She had completely forgotten that she was told not to enter inside the laboratory because there are many dangerous chemicals inside. Falma Sam? Falma was not inside. *hiu**. Wind entered inside from the opened windows. The things inside the laboratory were numerous chemicals and kinds of medicine, glass instruments, experimental tools that may be used for something, and a huge number of experimental notes. Was it just my imagination? But I need to close here too. The important medicine might be damaged if dust enters the laboratory. Lot stretched out and tried to close and lock the opened window. However, before that, she heard the door closing behind her. She defenselessly turned around. Charlotte. Wait. When Cedric finally reached the fourth floor, there was Lot, who collapsed on the laboratory's floor. What happened? When Cedric entered the laboratory and puts his hand on Lot's shoulder, he felt the person's presence from behind. When he turned around, he felt an impact on his back from behind. The hot blow directly hit Cedric's back. And following that, a hard something was plunged into his back. The invader was lurking behind the door. Cedric tried to pull out the staff, but his hands shook to pain, and soon after, his hands started to clearly cramp. He could not breathe. At that time, Falma stayed above in the sky of the imperial capital. It is to grasp completely the numbers of patients infected by the pest. When he looked around the city with his diagnosis eye, he saw the blue light dwelling in the patients, even penetrating through the buildings. They're infected, but it is all in the latent period. There are no symptoms yet. The pest bacteria, as long as the medication starts at an early stage, it is not so frightening. If medicine were given to everyone who is currently in the latent period within 1 to 2 days, with the disease destruction sanctuary and the quarantine stations functioning properly, the imperial capital's black plague could be terminated within a month. The casualties too, although there might be some, it would be kept to a minimum. I'll end it before the outbreak starts. It should not become a pessimistic situation theoretically, although wishful thinking is also included. And he felt a cold shiver that it was as if his body was pierced in uneasiness, and Falma looked towards the different world pharmacy. There are blue lights and tents flickering on the fourth floor, one big and one small, and from there a thin, human-shaped light had oozed out. It was just right now. Why, in the fourth floor? He tried to hurry to that place without leaving a second, and Falma became speechless. In the fourth floor, he saw that there is a completely black shadow lurking. It was the oblivion abyss, as if all of the world's shadows have condensed. It was as if one would get sucked in by merely looking at it. What is that? Dark shadow. Is that my elder brother, little sister, and the priests call us evil spirit? Falma flinched. Let's say that evil spirit exists, but he does not have the knowledge to banish them. That is the work of priests. However, the blue light of the patient who has stopped moving in the pharmacy's fourth floor turns to violet, and gradually turns to red. It was a dangerous sign that it would be too late in minutes. Why is it this fast? This isn't the pest. What? Is it poison? It is true that there are a lot of toxic substances required in the experimental synthesis process in the medical storage in the different world pharmacy's fourth floor. But even so, he did not leave immediately potent poison in the case where there is an emergency or robbery. He placed the dangerous ones in the locked, sturdy medical storage. The evil spirit, with a dark shadow, did it make the patient drink something in the laboratory? Ridiculous. Although he is still thinking of that, Falma asked the diagnosis eye. It is foolish to get close without thinking. Poisoning. There is a reaction from the shining blue light. As he thought, it looks like it was poison. Potassium cyanide. He doubted that it might be cyanide that has an immediate effect, but it was wrong. He started again. Inorganic compound. Wrong. Organic compound. There's a reaction. Alkaloid. Classifying it roughly from a huge cluster and narrowing it down, he will be able to find it for sure, but there are numerous varieties of poison. It is not something that he could guess by luck. Because he could see the blue light from a wound, he could guess that it's a poison arrow, or the poison entered through the wound. Falma continued to narrow down the alkaloids. He is not making a random guess. He is mentioning the deadly poison of quick-acting alkaloids, naturally derived organic compounds, as far as his memory knows. On top of that, it is mostly from ones that could be easily obtained in this world. Aconitine. The blue light became thinner. Aconitine is the toxic component contained in aconitum, wolf's bane. It is a deadly poison that Falma's father have used exclusively to patients as an antipyretic drug, but it is something that isn't in Falma's laboratory. And there is no detoxification method for this poison. Damn it, he cannot make an antidote. It is also too late for gastric irrigation. It is too late for symptomatic treatment. If so, he used the erase ability on his right hand. Erase aconitine, C34H47N011. Erasing the deadly poison from far away. It would be too late to heal the patient from the poison after defeating the evil spirit. The patient will die. That's why after Falma had detoxified it from far away, he planned to exorcise the evil spirit. The structure of aconitine is very complicated. But fortunately, unlike his creation ability, he only needs to chant the chemical formula or the name, alias of the compound. The erase ability will erase it. However, the blue light has yet to disappear. Although it has become thinner, there's still something. It looks like it was a combination of several poisons. He mentions mainly those which are used in poison arrows. He was doubtful, but he still mentions one of them. Batrachotoxin, the neurotoxin of the poisoned dart frog matched. This poison, it is not known in any medical book in this world. After all, there is no poisoned dart frog in this world. Why, something like this. I cannot even think of it, and I cannot do something like that. Falma felt cold shivers. There is only a fine line between poison and medicine. If the correct knowledge of medicine is misused, it could be poison as well. The dark shadow, it might be an evil spirit that exceeds the common sense of the people of this world. Erase batrachotoxin, C31 hydrogen nitride 06. The detoxification is finished. The human-shaped blue light disappeared, and only its position was lighted. One of the two lives were saved, although there is a small wound. Falma prepared himself, and this time for sure he charged towards the evil spirit. He entered crashing through the laboratory's open window on the 4th floor. The tall intruder, who is clad in black robes and covered his face with a hood, was there, turning away from Falma. I feel a bad presence. There is the presence of strong light. After the man had turned around with awkward movements that were as if his body would creak, he opened his mouth. It was a viscous voice, one that would stick in one's ears. He is releasing an intense odor reminiscent of a rotting odor. Did you come to interfere? What a fool, all humans die. The man asked a disturbing question. The man took off his hood with one hand. The skull of the man could be seen from the left half of his face, and his skin was rotting blue. It is a blue-haired man without a left eye. With that appearance, Falma guessed. You, don't tell me, are you Camus? It is the person that Falma's father kept an eye on as the culprit. The one that the Holy Knights of Nedale Kingdom unquestionably believe has an evil spirit. Indeed, I am. He pointed towards Falma with joy with his finger that was almost just a bone. He is not a human, he is a corpse in the shape of a person. You. The ones who have collapsed on the laboratory floor are Cedric and Lot. Cedric has collapsed as if to cover Lot. Groaning could be heard. Falma was able to detoxify from a far distance, but there is a small stab wound on his back. It is not a fatal injury. After Falma defeats the evil spirit, he can begin treatment for the two. What have you done? The next instant when Falma looked at them, Camus is holding a vial with its lid open. This laboratory is amazing. There are these many unknown toxins. What is this? How interesting. There is plenty of liquid and crystal in the vial. It is the powder of white phosphorus that Falma prepared for synthesis. It is something that Falma made with substance creation and stocked in the locked medical storage. White phosphorus ignites spontaneously when exposed to air, so it is immersed in water in the vial. I came to see the death disease diffusion experiment in the imperial capital, but in passing. Let's experiment what happens when to skin with this poison. He held the bottle containing white phosphorus above the face of Lot. If he tilts that vial, Lot's face would burn with the white phosphorus, and that flame would not disappear. The burns of white phosphorus are deep and difficult to recover. She will have severe chemical burns. It seems that Camus wants to try it quickly to see how toxic it is. Well, she is still alive. And that Falma did not let him. Before Camus's hand moves, Falma reaches out his hand towards the white phosphorus. Erase white phosphorus P4. The crystal disappeared. There are no more toxic things inside the vial. Do not hurt people with my reagent. That kind of thing, people do not call it as experiment. Using toxic chemicals just to try the effects on people. That is only a horrible cruelty, blasphemy against science and pharmacology. It's impossible. Only you. Silently holding his anger, Falma's voice trembled. Lot, who raised her eyelids after her consciousness returned with the poison was removed from her body, was startled with Falma's voice. I cannot heal you. Lot fell into the illusion that an unseen power manifested. The weight of the air increased. Lot is unable to let out her voice. All that she could do was to swallow her breath in prostration. It was because it seemed like it was not Falma's voice. It was a kind of voice that another person made. One with sadness and anger compressed to its limit. Lot has never seen him angry. But even so, right now, she clearly felt it. She clearly felt that he was angry. So why, you boo? After Falma had clenched his fist, he charged with a godly speed. Faster than Camus, swinging his poison knife quicker than he thought, he smashed Camus' face. Falma felt that he needed to eradicate this evil existence with all that he had. The evil spirit who was punched with a fist with concentrated divine powers without warning lost his face. Towards the evil spirit, Falma's left hand of erasure ability worked automatically. Camus was sent flying at high speed, crashing through the window on the other side of the laboratory on the 4th floor, and was blown out of the pharmacy with many rubble and debris. Falma flew using the medicine god's staff and left himself to that acceleration. In the sky, Falma focused strength on his fist once again. The instant Camus received that fist, this body was destroyed by the impact, making its shape warped. Falma's right hand pulsates and throbs. The torso was crushed. The body became hot, acquiring heat, and with that fist, another strike. He crushed him with his fist. The rotten meat became fragile and scattered, became ash, and disappear wrapped by white purification light. Disappear. Falma brandishes the medicine god's staff, which was clad with a shock wave high to the sky, and pierces the air at once. The evil spirit was unable to attempt any resistance. The essence of its existence was penetrated, rupturing thoroughly from the inside. It was skewered while it fell down, impaling to the ground. Hii. The ground gave in to the Falma's divine powers, making waves, and finally, it could not bear the pressure, making a giant crater in an instant. The medicine god's staff shines sharply in the rainbow-colored ultra-high-temperature flame completely enveloped Camus. Even the bedrock in the alley was burned bright red. This is death, her. While being enveloped with flames, Camus said his last words. That was something that the man possessed by an evil spirit waited for so long. The shadow inside Camus was pierced by the medicine god's staff and struggled for some time, but gradually disappeared. Together with the disappearance of the black mass, the man's body breaks apart and became ashes, and scatters in the wind. Stupid bastard. After sending him away, Falma felt emptiness. Camus' brains and talents far exceeded the standard of this world. If those knowledge, information, and discoveries were used, he wondered how many people might have been healed. He should have become a pharmacist whose name is written in history. However, he did not. He was too wicked. And that wicked heart, a more wicked existence, was called upon. The townspeople who have evacuated to the stores when the warning bells rung again fearfully opened the windows due to the loud sound earthquake-like impact that they felt very near, and saw a child whose face cannot be seen, hidden by his hood, holding a transparent staff, standing alone in the middle of the crater. What the heck just happened? There was no one who determined the truth. The sun's rays of light peeked between the clouds, and the sky became clear. The kind and warm wind, it flows down from the heavens as if to heal the San Fluive imperial capital. Falma Sama. While enduring the pain from her stabbed back, Lot went down the stairs of the pharmacy. One step at a time, as if to ascertain her gait, she approached Falma. The bloodstains followed her steps. Falma had his head drooping, and Lot looked up to him with her eyes almost overflowing with tears, and embraced him. Welcome back. No more words were needed right now.